those that are accessible needs to be practiced. Those that are accessible needs to be practiced. So thank you so much for your contribution and your participation. I entreat you to still participate effectively to the development of a session over here that we are going to have. I know that is not easy, but you are coping, and I appreciate you on that note. So let's quickly wait for a while as others join. But before we proceed to talk about today's lesson, it will be very important and very significant for us to recapitulate what we learned in our previous lesson. It's so important. So I will start, and some of you to bring out some of the things that you have captured in the previous section. I'm out of town now. I'm also coming to have the celebration with my family. So I'm right here. So let's bear with us in terms if you hear or if you see that I'm offline. I will still join because the network is not so stable over here, but I believe you can all hear me very clearly. So let's start by recapping our previous lesson. So the previous lesson basically was on Unit 2, which is intaglio printing, processes. So in this previous lesson, we explored the fascinating, world of intaglio printing. Very, very interesting and fascinating printing process that involves printing from sunk in or incised surface. So it is either sunk in or incised. Unlike the relief, printing that we talked about, where all the surfaces were raised, all right, and inked. Intaglio techniques rely on sunk in, depression or grooves that hold ink, which is then transferred to paper through pressure. So we examined basically 3 key intaglio methods, and with their various characteristics. And one thing that we pinpointed in intaglio process is that one thing cut across, which is the printing process. The printing process itself is same for all the 6, key intaglio methods. So we first looked at engraving method, where we said that it involves cutting fine lines into a surface using a very sharp tool like the bearing. Deeper cuts yield darker lines. Don't forget, that was what I asked you on, that at the end of the day, I expect you to ask me questions on that. And of course, someone asked, and I was able to explain to the person that if you cut the groups, all right, very deep, is going to soak more of the ink, hence resulting into darker lines when it is printed out. Then we also looked at etching. Etching, over here we use the acid to bite into the metallic plate, all right, where the design, it has been drawn through protective grounds. So we merge the whole, plate into acid bath for the design to cut through, all right. I mean, for the acid to cut through the design for us to get whatever impression that we need. Then we also went to another method, which is aqua tint, and we said that aqua tint creates tonal effect by etching areas of the plate covered with powdered resin. That was what we said concerning aqua tint. Then we also looked at dry point method of printing, we said that it involves scratching directly onto the plate with hard pointed needle, producing rich velvety lines. So we had various lines, that are, etched, scratched through the metal plate. Dry points, that one you realize that we did not really immerse it into any this. We just used this thing to create scratches on this thing on the metal plate for our designs to be formed. Then we also looked at the fifth one, which is mezzotint. And so mezzotint actually is a tonal method where the entire plate is also roughened and then smoothened selectively to create gradients of tone, where we have light tone, mid-tone, and dark tone. Then the last one that we also spoke about was the grave printing. That one is a mechanical integral process used in the industry, where images are etched onto a cylinder. So we saw two cylinders over there. So one is for the image and one for the substrate. So we realize that you have to etch it. All right, the image are etched onto a cylinder for high volume printing. That is, if you want to print much works, and that is the approach to use. So you realize that each of these techniques allow for expressive, detail, and rich texture printing, and they all form the foundation of many, professional and artistic printing processes. So that is that. Then we moved on briefly into Unit 3. And the Unit 3, we just highlighted on the concept. We just highlighted on the first section, which is on the concept and history of letterpress and flexography. We also call it flexo. So the flexographic printing can also be called flexo. So in that lesson, we explored the foundational relief printing techniques, that is letterpress and flexographic printing. And we said letterpress is what? Letterpress printing is this. We said that it is one of the oldest methods of printing, where raised surfaces are inked and pressed onto a paper or a substrate. It played a pivotal role in the history of mass communication, especially in book and newspaper production. Then we also moved on to talk briefly about flexographic printing, where we say that one is a modern evolution of letterpress using flexible relief plates and fast drying ink. It's that one is also widely used in the packaging industry, where it's used to print packages, labels, plastic materials due to its speed. So that is that. That is all that we discussed in our previous lesson. Any other point that you could add on to recap the previous lesson from you as we are waiting for the rest to join? Any other point? Any other key points that you also learned? So I have just given you a summary of all that we discussed on Unit 2 and part of Unit 3, or the beginning of Unit 3. We want to dive into Unit 3 very well today. So today we will be exhausting Unit 3 entirely, and possibly go into Unit 4. Just to finish everything possibly today and continue maybe tomorrow. Yes. So any other thoughts that you have to share? Does anyone have any thoughts? We said contribution and participation is very key over here. So could anyone give us any recap of the previous lesson? Yes, whatever you also learned in our previous lesson. Who is there to give us something? Who is there? No one. Does it mean that I've been able to exhaust everything? Is that it? I don't think that is all. Yes. I'm waiting. There's anyone? Or I should call names. No, don't forget that maximum contribution and participation is key to your accumulation of some marks for you, and that is very important over here. Some of you have been contributing. There's no two ways about it. And there are some people too that I don't know anything about them because they have never contributed. We entreat everyone to contribute. That is how interactive it will be. You know, if you don't contribute, it wouldn't be so interactive. Yes. Any thoughts over here? Any idea? Anything that you captured after we exhausted Unit 2 and part of Unit 3? Anyone? Yeah, Mavis has always been contributing. I don't know whether last week you were here with us, but
yes, sir.
I don't know.
Oh, sir, please,
You belong to the other or
Wesco and UCC.
okay. So today you are joining us, right?
Yes,
okay,
please.
all right. Okay. So proceed.
I think we'll be joining you throughout.
Oh, I see.
All right,
okay.
sir, please.
All right, that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Sir, please, I would just like to talk about the integral printing. A little of what I heard. And he said that it is a printing technique in which images are engraved into a surface, basically metallic surfaces, and it could be either copper or aluminum or whatever. And when it is etched,
sure, aluminum plate.
Aluminum plate, yes, please. So ink is also put, or we put ink in those spaces or etch areas. So that when we place a paper on it, the ink is transferred, or the image is transferred onto the paper by an act of pressure on the paper. And you
That's
also
great.
said that, yes, you also said that the process involved, or how you do it, is first you have to cut out the image. Then the next thing is you apply the ink within the etch areas. Then you place, you have to clean the residue, that is
the
particles,
excess, yes,
from it.
Exactly.
Then before you put in your ink, then later you can also clean with a damp cloth or something to clean all the metallic particles. Then when the ink is applied, you place a paper on it and you exert pressure at the back of the paper, so that when you turn it, it picks up the image that you engraved on the metallic sheet. So please,
that is fantastic.
Yes,
that is fantastic recap. Yeah,
thank you so
that is
much,
fantastic recap. Yes, any other? That's fantastic recap. That is all about intaglio. And once you have that in mind, you're all good to go. So any other quickly? Yeah, David, yeah. David Cote, yeah. Your hand is
I think my sister has extensively
said it all.
Yeah,
said it all.
She has said it all.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, baby.
Okay. All right. Okay. That is good job. That is good job. All right. So we are basically 34. Can we proceed now to today's concept? Can we? All right, Ransford. Okay, all right, okay, all right. So, Richard, now saying we should proceed. Okay, yeah, Christian, your hand is up. Maybe Christian would like to share something with us. And Christian,
yeah. I think we spoke about lithography too.
Yes, lithography.
Yes, I think we said that it's an indirect printing process whereby images are printed from a flat surface.
Great.
It's an indirect printing process whereby images are printed from a flat surface. So I think we spoke about the mesotent and other stenciling and the serigraphy too.
Great. That is so fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So today we want to quickly look at section 2. Section 2. So let's look at what is in there for us so far as section 2 is concerned. We are moving into the intricate aspects, so I want you to still pay attention as usual so that we exhaust it beautifully. We want to, I've already sent you some pictures. I've sent you some pictures. I hope you have taken your time to look at those pictures because I'll be referring to those pictures on the platform. I've sent you some pictures, very vital pictures that I'll be referring you to so that we can. So it's going to be interesting. I wish all of us the best as we treat this lesson. So we have section 2 of unit 3, section 2 of unit 3. So let's quickly share our screen for us to begin what is in there for us. All right, so let me share my screen quickly. Okay, all right. All right, section 2 of unit 3. Section 2 of unit 3. Unit 3, we said we are looking at the entire, relief and stencil printing. Relief and stencil printing. We have had the opportunity to hear of relief and stencil printing when we started. Where we talked about unit 1, relief and stencil printing. So we want to delve more into that. In the section 1, we already looked at the concept and history of letterpress and flexo printing. So today we will be talking about section 2, which is sheets. Sheet stencil tools and materials. Section 3, types of sheet stencil and preparation of single plate sheet stencil. Then we'll move to section 4, which is the preparation and dabbing of multi-plate sheet stencil and defect in sheet stenciling. Section 5, we'll be looking at practical activities in sheet stenciling, which I may give to you to do at home. Then section 6, we would be also looking at manual screen printing tools and materials. And so that is what we'll be looking at. Don't forget that you have already been introduced to sheet. You have already been introduced to stencil, where since Mavis did some stencil, cut out and showed it to us. And you have also been introduced to relief relief, printing. All right. So example of the relief printings of which some of you did the stamp. Okay. So we want to go deeper a bit. And so the new thing that we have over here will be the sheets, all right, sheet stencil and whatever. So we want to, it's the same thing basically. So we want to delve into it and get to know more about relief and stencil printing. So let us quickly start. All right. So we are looking at the sheet stencil tools and materials. All right. So by the end of today's or this particular section, we'll be looking at different sheets used to prepare stencil. Different sheets used to prepare stencil. Forget some use paper. While last time some of you used paper to prepare it. So we want to look at different sheets used to prepare stencil, and also describe the uses of the different sheets used to prepare sheet stencil. Then describe, tools and materials used to prepare sheet stencil. That is what we'll be looking at. So let's quickly look at the tools and materials for sheet stencil. So the first one is sheets. All right. So these are basically the surfaces, all right, or materials into which designs or images are cut. So we draw these images, or we put our impression, all right, on this sheet, so that we cut it out with a scalpel or a cutter. I've already told you that the technical name for cutter is scalpel. And so where we draw our motif, where we put our designs by drawing, by possibly inking. All right. The surface that we draw those designs or motifs on is known as the sheet. The prepared stencil, therefore, is called image carrier. All right. So once you prepare the stencil, all right, once you cut it through, the cutout, the stencil that you have, where we can see hole in it, that is what is known as the image carrier, because that is what is carrying the image. That is what is carrying the image for you to, press ink through for your impression to be made. Okay, so below are some materials used as image carriers in sheet stencil. The first one and the most popular one is the paper. All right, paper is the paper. So I said we don't have any type of paper called A4 sheet. We have papers such as manila card. We have papers such as chipboard. We have art cards. We have light straw board. We have straw board, elephant paper. We have eggshell. We have chromo coat. You have newsprint and many more. So you can use any of this depending on the design that you are making, depending on the design that you are making. If the design is very intricate, very sophisticated, then you cannot afford to use light paper. Very light paper will tear the designs apart. So you need to use, maybe you can use a manila card, so on. Then, however, they can damage when we use it frequently, excessively. When you use the paper, it can always damage. When you use it to cut the stencil, or for the print to be made, if you continue printing it several times, all right, about 4 or 5 times, you realize that the paper will become weak. So what must we do now? We must coat the surface with fixative. So don't forget, underline that word, fixative, such as what? Shellac knotting, all right, vanish. So the examples of the fixatives is what I'm giving you. The fixative will protect the surface, okay, will protect the surface of the paper so that it will not be too weak. You can't tear it easily, okay, so that it will be strong. So we have varnish, we also have polish, we have lacquer and others before cutting it, okay. So that is it. So if you coat it with this fixative, it will preserve it for a long period of time, hence expanding its lifespan for multiplication of prints. That is it. All right, so that is for the paper. So that is it. So quickly, let's move to the plastic sheet, which is also another material to carry our image. Another material to carry our image. That is the image carrier. So we have plastic sheets. The plastic sheets. So these are thin, transparent, flexible films, also called acetate. Okay, also called acetate. So they are just like how do you call it? Let me see what I can relate it to so that you can easily get it. Very. Have you? I don't know whether you know of this film. Have you had the chance to see how films? Okay, the material that we use for tape, cassette. No, not cassette. For those times when you go to the studio, good example is the X-ray. X-ray. If you have had the chance to take X-ray before of your chest, that material, all right, that plastic sheet, that flexible film, that is what we are talking about. So that one is transparent, all right. That one is very transparent. So that is that. So that is example of that. That is, yes, is someone's hand up?
So nowadays, in printing t-shirts, they use some plastic material. They call it DTF printing. Is it that material? It's plastic, white,
DTF.
and then they print the designs on it and transfer it onto the shirt.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That is. You realize that it is rubber.
Yes,
all right.
Please.
It is rubber-like. Yeah. So that is exactly what we are talking about. So those who have not seen it before, X-ray, the X-ray, this is just like that. All right. That is fantastic. Okay. So then we move to another one. So we looked at metal sheet. So it says metal sheets, just like aluminium. All right. Metal sheet. Okay. So these are flexible metal sheets, okay, which could be aluminium or lead foil. They are also used for the same purpose as plastic sheets. So we saw some of the metal sheets in the previous lesson. Then we have wood sheets. Okay, they are also very soft, thin, sheets, such as the veneer, what they use to cover these days our beds, our wardrobes. Okay, beds, wardrobe, tabletops. We have veneer, right? Very veneer. This a very thin plywood, very soft, thin plywood, very lightweight plywood. So we can also cut our stencil on that, so that we can have our image carrier. Then another material that we'll be talking about, which is colors, of course. So the color, these are wet media. All right. So we in the media category, we have wet and dry media. So over here we are talking about dry media. and we use the dry media for stenciling, but they must be selected according to the type of work surface that you are dealing with. All right, good. If the surface is very glossy, then it means that water-based colors would not do, or it will bleed. The color will bleed. All right, good. So if it is a material where the surface is matte, matte means it is not glossy, it is not shiny, it is not sparkling. All right, that one is matte. That one is a bit just like the bond paper. A4 bond paper, those ones are matte. It can absorb. So those ones, the water-based. However, we have cellulose paints, paints that dry quickly. They are not good for stenciling. Why are we saying that they are not good for stenciling? Because you have to dab. You have to dab several times so that you fill in all the apply all the ink to the necessary hollow space that are available. If it dries faster, you'll not be able to get even space, even texture. So it is always appropriate to use wet-based, the one that will not dry quickly. Then we have another tool. We have a tool which is known as stencil knife. So the stencil knife is also there. You know, knife, we know that knife is used for cutting. So that is stencil knife. So a hard metal bladed knife with a pointed or angled tip. It is used for cutting. So cutting out what? Cutting out the designs. All right, cutting out designs into a stencil. So the knife must always be kept sharp. If you use blunt knives or blunt, so instead of stencil knife, you can also talk about the what's the name? The scalpel. So let me quickly show you an example of scalpel. Let me show you an example of scalpel quickly so that you get to know what I'm actually talking about. Example of scalpel. You got to know it. Should I put it on your WhatsApp, or I should just project it for you to see which is which? Someone should respond quickly and we move.
On our WhatsApp
page, please.
On the WhatsApp page. Okay, so that one will do. So the scalpel. So we have an example of scalpel that I want to show you. Okay, so I'm just putting it, I'm downloading quickly. Let me put it there for you to see. That is the scalpel. It's adjustable. You can adjust the blade. Okay, and you know, break the blunt blade off. Okay, we have been using it. That is the scalpel. I've placed it on the platform. I've placed it on the platform. So that is scalpel for you. Scalpel, right? So you have seen it. Please, have you seen it there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah. So that is scalpel.
Yes, sir.
That is scalpel. So we can use this. You know, so you realize that you have been seeing it around, right? It's encased in a plastic, you know, handle, having blades that can be that are breakable, all right, that we can break, all right, clear off the blunt edges for the new ones to come for it to be used for the print, for the cutting. Then we have dabbing tool. So we have dabbing tool like what? The foam. All right. So we use the dabbing tool to pick the ink from the palette. All right. From the trail or the glass, all right, where we mix it to soak it. All right. Then we use it. All right. We use it to dab. We use it to, all right, press it with the help of the ink, all right, which is already soaked in it. We press it into the stencil for our impression to be made. So we have a sponge, we have a spray, we have foam. Then drawing pins. So drawing pins are used for securing stencil onto soft support, such as wood, paper, and fabric, so that the stencil will not shift, especially when you are dealing with very big stencils, where your stencils are big and you need a support from someone, and that someone is not there, but you need to do it alone. So you need to get drawing pins so that you can secure your stencil, make it very stable on the support before printing. Then we have masking tape. Masking tape. Don't forget, there's a difference between masking tape and sellotape. So the masking tape is also used just like the sellotape, used for securing stencil, all right, plates onto support, all right. So that one is used for securing the stencil, just like drawing. So where you cannot use the drawing pins, we can use masking tape. And that one is in a paper form. It's in a paper form that we can easily tear. So that is the masking tape. So the sellotape is in a rubber form that you can't easily tear. You have to use blade or scissors to cut it. That's the sellotape. That's the difference. So masking tape. Then we have a plain glass. That is, it is used as a ground for cutting stencils. So we don't cut stencils on soft surfaces like wood, tabletop, and whatever. The best place for us to cut it is the glass, plain glass, very smooth plain glass. So we put our paper on it, all right. Then we cut our stencil with the help of our scalpel or stencil knife. When you cut it on a soft surface, you may not get, sometimes you may not get a very smooth edge. So we use glass, very plain glass, all right, very flat and smooth. Then we have already spoken about fixative. So we know what fixative is all about. So we said that these are transparent coatings used to preserve stencil sheets. So we have varnish, polish, lacquer, wax, etc. Okay, all right. So we just spoke about sellotape. So that one is the rubber-like transparent adhesive, also used to preserve paper. So it's also used to preserve, just like the fixative. So you can, cut your sellotape, right, strip by strip, so that you fix it entirely on the paper to protect the paper, to make it a bit, tough for you to use. So that is all that we need to know about that. Any question? Any question? We are done with session 3. Let's go to, we are done with session 2. Any question? Any question? Clifford, yeah. Your hand is up. Any question or any contribution?
Sorry, sir, it was all long, up long ago.
No problem, but you can still contribute. Yeah, you can still contribute. All right. Okay. So yeah. So anyone here to contribute? Is it well understood? If it is well understood, you need to give me some contribution before we move on quickly. Today we need to. I know we are. I'll give you some break, or we'll close, earlier. All right. We'll close earlier. so that you can have some time for your practical activities. All right. Next. Anyone? Yeah, sure. Maybe it's once again, right? Maybe it's, yeah.
And so basically about the stenciling, all that we have talked about is first you need to secure the surface, the material you will be working on. So it could be in the form of paper, and you talked about the papers. We have the bond, the manular, the eggshell, and chipboard, and others. Then you also said that apart from the paper, we can also use plastic materials, like the
Okay.
yes, plastic material. Then we also have some metal sheets. Those ones should be lighter ones, so we can use the aluminum and the lead for. Then we also have the wood as surface, and we have the vinyl or one light plywood. Then yes, so plastic, wood, metal, and paper. And we also said we need some cutting tools, and the cutting tools, as far as our work is concerned, we call them scapula. Is that it, sir?
Scalpel.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
after drawing whatever you need to cut out for your stencil, you use the scalpel to cut out the scalpel. And you said that with the cutting out, it shouldn't be done on a soft surface. It should be done on a hard surface, like you said, the glass surface, a plain glass surface that these things can be cut on. Then after that, since if you are going to use this for so many times, then you wouldn't need a light paper. If you're going to use the work for a long time, then you need a hard paper. Then you also have to fix it using this fixatives or transparent rubber sellotape. Thank you.
All right. That's good. Good job. That's good job. Any other mail to also add on? Any other mail to add on? Though she has exhausted everything, maybe we would move on so that the mails could also do the next summary. All right. Okay, so let's go to the types of sheet stencil and preparation of single plate sheet stencil. That is the next lesson that we'll be talking about. So we would describe the two main types of stencil and to prepare and preserve sheet stencil, single plate sheet stencil. So we have a single plate. So we'll talk about the other plate. All right. Okay, so now we want to talk about types of sheet stencil and preparation, how to prepare single plate sheet stencil. Now we have two main types of stencil designs. Two main types. So the cutting out. So once you draw your image. Okay, you draw your image on your image carrier or on your sheet, which could be paper, which could be plastic. All right. After drawing it, you cut it with the scalpel. All right. The cutting are in two ways or two forms. All right. So we have the positive stencil. That is the normal one that we have been cutting, where we cut the actual design out or the actual image out. All right. So for instance, you have drawn apple. Okay. So you have drawn apple. Then you cut out the apple, the edges of the apple on that sheet for your stencil to be achieved. Don't forget that you will see the apple, all right, a hollow outline of the apple. So you cut it out. That is the positive stencil. It means you are cutting the design. That's the positive stencil. Okay? Then we come to the negative one. So if the positive, you are cutting the design, then what about the negative? The negative, you are cutting the surrounding of the design, leaving the apple itself. So the apple design, you don't cut it out this time. You cut the surrounding of the apple. Okay, so we are going to print the first print. When you use the positive stencil, all right, when you dab with the foam, with the help of your foam, all right, fetch your ink, okay, or soak your ink and use it to dab. When you use the positive stencil, at the end of the day, we are going to get the apple. So if you dab with blue ink, green ink, or yellow ink, or red ink for the dabbing of the positive stencil, the image that you are going to see, which is the apple, would be blue or green or red. I hope I'm making sense. Then we move to the negative one. The negative one, you are not going to cut out the design, the actual design out, but rather you are going to cut out the edges, the surrounding where the image is not located. So when you are dabbing it, where this one to where you want to print, where you are dabbing it, where you want to make the impression, and you soak your foam, all right, or your sponge or whatever, or rag with the ink, and you dab, you are going to get the apple. This time the apple will be white because it's just giving the edges. The apple will be white. No matter the type of color that you use, the apple will be white. So the surrounding will rather be the red, the surrounding will be yellow, the surrounding will be depending on the type of color that you are using. Any question on that? Any question on that? Any question on that? Or do you all get it? If you get it, thumbs up. If you get it, thumbs up. Let me see. Good. All right. If you get it, thumbs up. All right. All right. Clifford. All right. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's good. So that is the difference between the stencil, positive stencil, and the negative stencil. All right. Yeah. Question. Yes. Clifford and Sam. Sam. Sam, your network. Sam, your network. I believe your network. Your network is worrying you. Could you position yourself better? Sam.
Hello, sir.
We can
Please, can you hear me?
you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, it's better now. It's better now.
Okay, sir. I was saying that, can you help me explain more on the positive and the negative cutouts? Which one adds details to the work? The positive and the negative.
Which one? Which one does what?
Adds details to the printing.
Which one adds detail? I'm not getting him. Did you say which one adds detail? Which one is more detailing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it means that you have two stencils. So which one will add details to the and one is negative and one is positive. So which one will add details to the work? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you realize that the positive stencil is the actual design that you want to print out. Is that also? So I just want to make a very simple this thing for you. Just get a paper right now. Just imagine you have a paper, drawing and be sharing, all right, with your loved ones, all right. So draw it. Just draw the heart on it. Then you cut it out. Cut the heart out with the scalpel. So you are going to get the hollow part. Okay, so you throw the cutout, away. leaving the hollow part. That is so it means that you have your image carrier now, which is the stencil. Now you want to do the stenciling. That's the process of printing. So once you place your stencil or your image carrier on a substrate, another piece of paper, you can now dab your stencil. By dabbing, you are doing stenciling. So you pick your foam, okay? You pick your foam, you soak it into an ink, then you exert pressure. You push through, all right, the ink through the hollow area. So if you are pushing it through the hollow area and you now take out your stencil or the image carrier, you will see your heart nicely there. Then also you see it there. All right. You see it there. So that one, it has given you the actual picture. That is the hollow, the hollow part has given you the actual picture. So it's more detailed. You will see that this is apple, or this is the heart that you have drawn. On the other side, it's just like you are now giving something like a shadow. You are giving a shadow. So you draw the same design again. You draw the same design. Then this one, you are not going to take the heart out. All right, you are going to take the areas that we do not have design, where the design is not located. You are going to cut those areas out, leaving the edges of the heart. So when you print it, you will see the background. You just see the background, leaving the design itself white. The design will be white, and you will see colors around the background. So in short, if you want to know which one is more detailing, the positive one is more detailing. Thank you. Have I explained myself?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, Misty, thank you. All right, Clifford, your question.
Sir, I
Clifford.
think this when we're doing the principles of design, there was this principle called positive and then negative space. So
yes,
in this case, when you design your image on the sheet, so the image becomes the positive space. Hello?
Sure.
Hello?
I can hear you.
The design becomes a positive space. The design becomes the positive space, and then the surrounding becomes the negative space. Yes. So when you cut the positive space out, that's positive stenciling. And when you cut the negative space out, then it becomes negative stenciling.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for adding on. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Thank you for adding. So shall we now proceed? We can now put, oh, Mavis, yeah, your hand is up.
Yes, sir, please, Mavis, we can. I have put a picture on the page. I think some Louis Vuitton design. I think it's speaking about the positive and the negative spacing.
Good. So good. So we can see the positive, and so the LV is the positive. All right, the LV is the positive. Then if you are looking at the other shape, all right, the other circular shape with these 4 circles, it means possibly the external area is the round one, while the inner area is white. So the inner area, which is white, is the actual design, but we have applied color on the negative area, showing the main work or the main design now, white, or where we have negative area without application of color. So that is that. All right, so we can proceed now. Now, Clifford, your hand is up. Any contribution?
Sorry, sir, I didn't bring it down when I raised it earlier.
Okay, all right, okay, sure. So let us now proceed. Thank you so much. Let's proceed quickly. I believe you're on it. So I get it. So let's look at this too. All right. So imagine this is our paper, our piece of paper. All right, our piece of paper over here. Our piece of paper over here. All right, this is our piece of paper. I hope you can see my cursor. Our piece of paper over here. KASHTS. All right, so we have this a piece of paper. All right, so we cut the K, we cut the K, all right, out, the A out, the S out, the H out, the T out, the S out. So making the KASHTS hollow now on this piece of paper. On this piece of paper. So the black area is now the hollow area. So we now have our positive stencil for printing. So the negative stencil, this is where you can still see KAST, all right, KASHTS. But this time we have cut out the paper, the negative area out entirely, leaving the distance. So we cut it out. Now our KASHTS will now be hanging the paper. That will be the paper now. Don't forget that the positive area, the paper, the KAS, all right, HTS, the paper is no longer there. It has become hollow. But this time we only see the paper and the external place, becoming hollow instead. So when you print this one out, you will see the KASHTS. But when you print this one out, you just see the external part of the KASHTS. So that is that. So how do you prepare it? Let's go. How do you prepare it? How to prepare single plate. So this is how we prepare single plate. So this is a single plate. Single plate. Single plate basically is one type. You are using only one let's say paint or one ink, right? So that is it. So how to prepare single plate sheet stencil? 1, set out the design to correct size and shape as on appropriate sheet. So whatever design that you want to cut out, you set it nicely on your sheet. And as we have all said, the sheet can be metal plate, it can be film, it can be paper of any kind, depending on your design. 2, mark out ties or bridge in the hollow part of the design or letters. So there are some letters that if you don't create bridge, so look at the A. Look at the A, for instance. Look at the A. A. If you do not give a space over here, you can see some white. Okay, let me increase it for you to see. All right. All right. So you can see that we have left out some, white space touching the inner. All right, the inner of the A. The essence of doing this is that we are cutting out the black spaces out. We are cutting out the black spaces out. So if you don't put this bridge here, so that you cut this part and cut the other part, eventually the inner part of the A will be taken out. Because it has no support. So you need a support to hold the inner part firmly. Okay, so that case is what we call the bridge. The bridge. Now let's look at the bridge for the negative area. So you can see that bridges are all the white spaces over here, bridge, so that to hold this K, so to hold the K, we have one bridge over here. We are cutting out the edge. So we have one bridge over here. We have another bridge over here, another one there, another one. So the bridges.
Yes. I'm showing what I've been able to do right now.
Okay.
So this one, let me label it.
Okay. So okay. All right. So let's see what is David. Good.
A.
Exactly. Good job. Good job.
Okay.
Good job. Good job. So
this one,
show us the heart. Show us the heart. Show us the heart.
So this one is the positive stencil, right?
This is the positive space. And
okay.
Yeah, this is the positive stencil. And we have the negative stencil.
All right.
Yeah. So show us the negative stencil once again, so that I can explain. The bridge. Show the negative stencil. Good. So you can see that this is the bridge. You can see the bridge there, holding the inner part. Holding the inner part.
Height,
yeah.
At the top and bottom of the hat.
Exactly. So that is it. Holding the inner part of the hat. That is what we call the bridge. Thank you so much for good job. That is David. David, good job. David, good job. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Good job. All right. Okay. So let's proceed. Thank you for making things easier. All right. So let's proceed quickly. Okay. So that is all about the positive and the negative area. Okay. All right. Then preserve the sheet by applying 2 coats of varnish. So if you are not using varnish and you want to preserve it, what other thing can you use to preserve the sheet? That is, if you are using paper. So we can say we can even use sellotape. If you don't even have lacquer, you can use sellotape. Right? Or apply transparent sellotape to cover the design or the entire. So David presented this thing, the negative area. So you can see that negative area is so weak. It's so weak. It is dangling. So in order for him to get a very firm negative area with the bridge, so that the bridge will not tear as a result of dabbing, what David needs to do is to coat the entire paper with sellotape first to make the paper very, very tough. Thank you so much. All right. So place the sheet on a glass surface. Don't forget, we said that we have to cut on a glass surface so that you can get a very smooth, edge. So cut through the outline of the design with a pointed tip of a sharp stencil knife or scalpel. When cutting, tilt and slant the knife outside the stencil at the angle of 20. This one you have to use your discretion anyway to cut a beveled edge. If it is paper, you not really appreciate the beveled edge. But if it is cardboard, that is a bit thick. You see, so you see that it is now slanted. Slanted. That's the bevel edge. All right. So that is all that we need to talk about the type of stenciling and how to prepare the single plate. Now we want to look at multiple plate sheet stencil. Multiple. We looked at the single. We now coming to look at the multiple. The multiple sheet stencil. The multiple. All right. So we will be describing how to prepare multiple plate stencil, then describe how to dab multiple stenciling. So pay attention over here so that we look at it very well. This one is a bit complex, but we'll get it. We'll get it very beautifully. Now, how to prepare multiple plate sheet stencil. All right, we have already spoken about stencil. So we have prepared the single. Now you want to prepare multiple. Single, want to prepare multiple. Now, what must you do? Set out the two color designs. So in this case, we have two color designs. So I've placed some design on the page. I'm showing it on WhatsApp. So it's there. Something like, it's just like a cartoon, okay? We have color separation over here. So that is what we want to do. So this design basically is having how many colors? Basically, we have 3 colors. So we can see orange, we can see white, we can see blue. Okay, we can see white, we can see orange and blue. So in this case, we are using 2, we are using 3, because we say multiple plates. It can be 2 or more. So I'm going to use the 3 to show you. So set out the 2 or 3 color design to correct size and shape on appropriate design. So we have just done it. We have just done it based on what we are. Okay, let me just project. No, you are saying it. Or should I project? Should I still project that one for you to see? Or you are already seeing it on the WhatsApp platform? Are you seeing it on the WhatsApp platform? Are you there? Are you, is everyone on the WhatsApp? Okay, all right, you are there. Okay, sure. All right, so shade or paint the design in flat color to indicate the colors. So we have painted our design. We have painted our design white. We have painted our design orange, and we have painted our design blue. Okay, mark out registration mark on the design. What do you mean by registration mark? Take measurement, all right? Give detail, indicate where the position of the design, so that if you are placing it on the support, you know where to place it appropriately, so that it will not be too big or too small. So you mark it out. You take the appropriate measurement. That's what you're talking about. Then 3, use a piece of tracing paper to trace out one of the colors from the design. So for instance, let's trace out the first one, that is the blue. So we trace out, don't forget that the paper, we have marked the papers out. So the papers are down there, just like the same size. So we've marked it out, taking the entire, so you can see some dots over there. Dot 1, 2. So we now want to trace the one color, all right? One color after the other. So we now have the blue. So we are tracing out the blue. So we trace out the blue. So you can see that the blue has been traced out. All right. The 2, is it orange or apple or tomato? All right. It has been traced out. Or watermelon, it has been traced out beautifully. So the same way you trace out the other one. All right. So the yellow, where the orange part is, you trace the orange part. Then trace out the white areas. The white areas too must be traced out. All right. So after tracing it, so you have 3 colors that you have traced out. All right. And transfer that, all right, trace our designs onto a hard card. Trace it out onto a hard card entirely. After tracing it out onto a hard card, what must you do now? What must you do? Use another piece of tracing paper to trace out other colors. All right, so we have done that. All right, we have done that. That is what is called color separation. So the process of tracing out 2 or more colors from the design is called color separation. So we have seen it there, color separation. There's one thing that you must know when it comes to color separation. Always bear in mind that, all right, dark colors must always overlap light colors. Dark colors must always overlap light colors. For instance, black color will overlap white color because black is stronger than white. White is weaker than black. So if you make the white overlap the black, we'll still be seeing black edges. Okay, but if you make the white, the black to overlap the white, the black will cover the areas that it ought to cover. So that is it. So now mark out the ties or bridges in the hollow part of the designs or image. So you now have the hollow part, 3 hollow parts on various, image carriers. So 1, 2, 3 in this case. So preserve the sheet by applying, all right. So you can apply varnish, lacquer, polish, or sellotape to make it very, very firm and durable. Place each sheet on a glass surface. Okay, so you are just going to place it, and you now cut your designs through. You now cut it through. So you've done the cutting. All right. So let's quickly go to the dabbing. If you want to now print, so don't forget dabbing. That is the printing. That is the appropriate thing. Dabbing. All right. Now fix the image. Fix the image carrier, which is the stencil. All right, of the lightest color in the design onto a support on a smooth surface. So on a table, you place your support there, which can be your leather. So Mavis gave us what was the name? Mavis gave us a very beautiful leather bag over there. So let's take it to be our leather. And so this is our leather. All right, so we want to print. So the leather is placed on a flat surface first. Once it is placed on the flat surface, what must we do now? All right, you now mix the stencil color, the color that you want to use, in medium consistency. All right, medium consistency. It shouldn't be too light. It shouldn't be too thick. It should be moderate. It should be workable. Pour some of the color into a palette board. Okay, then prepare the dabbing tool, which is the foam. Charge it, and so you soak it. That is the charging. You charge it. So another way you soak it with the color and discharge slightly. Okay, apply and dab the color gently into the stencil to transfer the image. So one stencil, okay, one at a time, one stencil at a time, the lighter one. So the lighter color. So if you look at it, the lighter one is the blue. So we print blue first, then we print which one second, which one second. Yes, after printing blue first, which one will go as the second one? Any hand here? 3 colors: blue, orange, then black, whatever. Yes, which one? Or white? So the white. Yes, which one? So let's pick these 3 colors. Let's pick these 3 colors. Let's take blue, black, and orange. Which one would we print first? Blue, black, deep blue, black, and orange. Which one would we print first? Deep blue, black, and orange. Which one will come first?
Blue.
deep blue. Not this time, not blue. So deep blue, orange, then black. Which one?
I'll go for orange
for the printing. Next.
So orange will come first.
All right. Then second,
dark blue, and the third will be black.
Exactly. So thank you. I know some of your hands are up there. You want to contribute. That's good job. So the orange will come first because the orange is lighter than the dark blue, what we normally call blue black. The actual name is navy blue. Okay. Then black will be the last one. Okay. So don't forget your registration, because you have marked out. You allow one to dry first. To allow the first stencil design to dry. So if it is orange that we are printing first, you allow it to dry first before you fix your second stencil on it. So your second stencil, which is darker color, which is blue, would be placed on it. All right, on it to dab the areas that needs to be dabbed. Dab the areas that needs to be dabbed. Then the third one would also happen. So don't forget, on the first design, by using the registration marks, don't forget to use the registration mark as a guide so that you can position the main, work well. So you can try it. Dab the color into the stencil, remove the stencil, and allow it to dry. So that is that. Now let's look at the safety precautions. Don't use, when you are doing multiple, all right, multi-plates. Don't use sharp paints to dab a stencil. Okay, if you say the paint is sharp paint, it means that it is thin, it is very light. Do not use very thick paint. When it is thin, what will happen? Sometimes it will even soak the stencil, right, making it weaker. Another one is that it will even bloat or it will bleed. Okay, it will bleed. Just like if something, falling off, all right, from the appropriate, space, it is now scattering, all right, moving out from the space that you want it to be. And so that is it. Do not use thick paint to dab a stencil. It shouldn't be too thick. It shouldn't be too thick. All right. We'll see why it shouldn't be too thick. We'll talk about that. All right. Sometimes it will peel off. It will peel off. If it is too thick, it will peel off. All right. Then always secure the stencil plate firmly onto the surface before stenciling. Don't forget, I said that dabbing is stenciling. The process of using stencil to print, where you apply ink through the stencil, is known as stenciling. Then the print is called stencil print. Then the image carrier is known as the stencil. Use even a medium pressure during dabbing. The pressure should be very, very medium. Don't exert much pressure. All right? You are not killing an elephant. You need to exert, medium pressure, not maximum pressure. Medium one, of course. All right. Then we move on. Do not use fast drying paint to dab. I've already told you why it is not good to use fast drying paint. You will not get smooth, surface, because it will quickly dry. Now let's look at the defect, the fault. If you don't do it well, what are some of the faults that you can identify, the defect? One, bloating. All right. So whereby the creeping, all right, creeping of paint under a stencil during dabbing, where it will bleed. What are the causes of bloating or bleeding? One, when the paint is sharp, it's too light for the stencil, it will bloat. Right? Two, when using overly charged dabbing tool, the foam you have soaked it in the paint too much. It is too much. Sometimes you have to discharge some. You have to discharge some of them. It will also bloat. Stenciling on very smooth surface with sharp paint. When the surface, where the substrate is very smooth, glossy, very glossy, like glossy paper is your photograph, your passport picture, the paper that will be used for passport picture of your photograph, where you take a photograph, where you snap a photograph. What they use to, the paper that is used for the print is known as, glossy, all right, paper, glossy paper. So we're using glossy paper, all right. What happens is that the surface is very smooth. So when the paint is sharp, very sharp, it will not be able to absorb the paint, hence allowing it to bloat. All right. Improper fixing of stencil plate. If you don't fix it well with the pin or the masking tape, okay, it will also bleed or bloat. Improper dabbing of the color. You are dabbing. Okay, someone's mic is on. The one whose mic is on should help us by Morgan. It seems your mic. Thank you very much, Morgan. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So we look at improper dabbing of color. If you don't dab it well, don't forget dabbing is stenciling. If you don't dab it well, properly, you dab it anyhow, not concentrated, dab it anyhow, all right, it will also bloat. Another defect. So in examination, they can ask you, what are some of the defects associated with multi-plate stencil? So take note of that. You mention it and you tell us the causes. I'm just giving you, one secret, okay? Just give you one secret. Another one is lifting. Lifting is also a defect. When the stencil plate, all right, raises itself from the surface during dabbing, you can just imagine, right? Because what do you think could cause that? Number one is when the paint is too thick. So when you are dabbing, it can just, all right, move away from the substrate, raising it up. If you raise it up and you want to fix it again, you not get a sharp edge. So that is the cause is as a result of thick paint. Stencil plate becoming overloaded with color. So if you don't discharge some of the color from your foam and you add more, it will also lift the stencil. Stencil with, all right, livered oil paint, all right. So some of the oil paints are so thick, so sometimes it will cause that. So pinhole, that's another one. Pinhole. So pinhole, these are small coats. So dots as a result of uncoated places. All right. So these are holes or uncoated spots in stencil. These are holes, small holes, all right, that are not filled with what? With paint or with ink. What are some of the causes there? So the cause, the defect is pinholes. 1, stenciling with unstrained hot paint. Some of the paints are having particles already that are not clean. And so sometimes you have to sieve it. They are dirty. So you have to sieve it to take away unwanted, materials. Okay, so it must be strained. Stenciling with thick, when it is too thick, all right, you not get a very smooth distance. So that one too can cause pinhole. Stenciling with quick drying paint, yes, you will be able to achieve even consistency or even surface. And so you need to do that. Improper dabbing of color, so that is another one. Then we have piling. All right, stencil should be coming, all right, overloaded with color. Cutters. Using of thick paint to print the design, and excessive use of stencil plate without intermittent cleaning. And so you are always using the stencil plate all the time. You don't clean it, you use it, you have printed the first design out beautifully, second design out beautifully. Third one, you have to clean the base. You have to clean the base. Sometimes clean the top two before you use it again. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all that we have to talk about so far as multiple plate stencil is concerned. So this is your assignment. This is your assignment. As I said, I'm going to give you some time to do it. So try this, the practical activity, it is there for you. So you are going to try preparing and dabbing positive area. So someone has done it already. So you are going to try it on your own. So you read it. The assignment is there for your perusal. The assignment is there for your perusal. All right. So try as much as possible. So now let's go to section 6. Section 6. But before we go to section 6, any comment on what we have just discussed? Any comment? We are on it. Any comment? When it is 2 o'clock, we'll go for a short break. Then we come back again. Any comment? Good job. No comment, it means you're on it. All right, that's fantastic. Let's proceed to the next one. Section 6. Don't forget, section 5 is the practical activity, so don't try as much as possible to do it. All right, don't waste time. Try as much as possible. I'm going to give you much time, about 1 hour to do that. All right, so we'll close 1 hour earlier so that we can do that practical work. All right, then section 6, manual screen printing tools and materials. So you want to look at screen printing tools and materials. Ladies and gentlemen, screen printing is what? Screen printing is what? So we'll be talking about screen printing in technology 2. We'll be talking more about it. But I have just shown you something on screen printing. So we have the screen over here. I've shown you something beautiful. So we have the screen. So this is screen. I'm going to, on the WhatsApp page. I want to indicate it once again. That is the screen. All right. This is the screen. So manual screen printing. So where we use our hands to prepare it, our screen. So we want to use We want to know the tools and material that we use to prepare manual screen. That is all that we want to talk about. To prepare this screen that we are talking about. So the screen is made up of a wooden frame and a mesh. A wooden frame and a mesh. Another name for the mesh is known as organdy. Organdy, everybody, organdy. All right. So that is another name for the mesh. So you want to look at it. Now, by the end of this section, we'll state tools, equipment, materials used in small scale screen printing. So very small one, you want to try it. Describe the characteristics of the tools, equipment used in small scale screen printing, and describe the tools, equipment, and materials used. Then we look at the description of the tools. So let's quickly continue. So what we have just indicated, so we use the screen. This is the screen, so we can see that we are using the screen over here to print something. So that's the screen. I want to show that one to you on WhatsApp page again. All right, so you can see that this is the screen. Okay, all right. So we different types of tools. So the screen we use it to print. We use it to print t-shirts. We use it to print t-shirts. We use it to print, especially on materials, handkerchiefs. All right, inscriptions on t-shirt, handkerchiefs. All right, that is the screen printing. Towels. So normally we use it on fabrics, screens. Okay, so we have different types of tools and materials that are used in screen printing. These range from small tools and equipment used in village or small scale screen printing to equipment used in large scale or industrial screen printing. So the equipment, the tools, range from small to a very large one, from the small scale one, which is the village one, or which is the homemade one, or which is the antiquated one, to a very modern, sophisticated, and industrial one. So now the table below will show example of the tools, equipment, and materials mostly used in small scale screen printing. So let us look at some of the tools. Then we come to materials and equipment. Don't forget, we have the tools, materials, and equipment. So the first tool is the squeegee. I've shown you the squeegee. And so this is the squeegee. This is the squeegee that I have shown you. So we have the squeegee over here on the platform. Squeegee. All right. The squeegee is a rubber-like, tool with a wooden handle, or not rubber-like, plastic-like. All right. The edge is plastic-like or rubber-like. All right. Encased in the wooden handle, which is used to press ink through the screen, a positive area of the screen for impression to be made. So that is squeegee. So you can see someone, using, hello? Someone should speak whether the person can hear me, because it seems my mic is troubling. Someone should.
So we can hear you.
So we can hear you.
Okay. I can hear you. All right, I can hear you. All right. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so that is squeegee. Squeegee sharpener. So the squeegee sharpener. What is the squeegee sharpener over here? Squeegee sharpener. Okay, so let me quickly show you. So I want to show you the SPG sharpener. All right. I'm putting it on the platform. So SPG sharpener. Not a squeegee sharpener. What do we use the squeegee sharpener for? So that one too is a tool. All right. Basically used in screen printing. It removes damaged edges from squeegee to restore a flat, sharp edge for high quality print. Okay. So it sharpens the edge. You know, as you print, don't forget the edge is plastic, is rubber-like. So the more you apply, you know, the edges will become rough. So the sharpener will put it in good shape, give a very sharp edge for quality printing all the time. If the sharpener, if the edge is rough, you not get a proper print. So we have scoop coater. So the scoop coater too is on the platform. The scoop coater is on the platform. So let's see the scoop coater. Let me show you the scoop coater once again. Scoop coater. This is the scoop coater. Scoop coater. The scoop coater. So you want to know what the scoop coater also is. So what is the scoop coater? So the scoop coater, it is also scoop coater. So if you say scoop coater, it's also used in the printing industry. All right. So it is a specialized aluminum tool used in screen printing to apply a smooth, even layer of emulsion, photo emulsion onto a mesh. So you can see someone applying photo emulsion onto a mesh using the scoop coater. All right. So let's see the person using the scoop coater to apply photo emulsion. I'll be explaining photo emulsion to you. Okay. So I'll be explaining it to you at the appropriate time. What is photo emulsion? It is used to coat the surfaces of screen. All right. We'll see the significance of photo emulsion at the appropriate time. So this is the scoop coater. Someone is using it. All right. The person has poured the photo emulsion into the scoop coater and applying it on the screen. So the screen is on the right side, applying it on the screen. Yes, someone's hand is up.
Yes. Sir, please, the scoop coater does have any other name. I've learned that it's also called coating trough. Is it true?
Yes, that is it. That is another name for scoop coater.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Coating trough. Coating trough. That is it. Thank you very much. Scoop coater. Another name is the coating trough. Good job. All right. So that is some of you are really contributing. I love that. That is very, very good. Then we come to which one again? Which one? Screen frame. So that is the wooden frame that we can see. All right, the wooden frame. Then cutting knife. You know, cutting knife already. Brush. You know, brush. Masking tape. You know, masking tape. Nails to fasten the woods together in a rectangular or getting your frame done. Okay. Then nails. We have hammer, we have plain glass, and soft wood. So the soft wood is also used for the frame. Then we have foam, we have tracing paper. So that's the tracing paper. Have you seen tracing paper before? Do I have a picture of it? So this is the, okay, we don't have tracing paper, but tracing paper is very common. Tracing paper is very common. It is translucent. It is translucent. So that is tracing paper. It is used to trace, all right, impressions onto another surface. Then we go to the materials. So we have wax. That's like the candle wax. It is also used for screen preparation. Okay, where we do not, if you want to go manual, where you don't have lacquer, where you don't have photo emulsion, they use wax to coat the entire screen. All right. Then we have photo emulsion. So the photo emulsion, that is, it's just like photo emulsion is just like glue, white glue. Okay, white glue. White glue. And so we add this thing to it, a chemical to it, known as sensitizer. Sensitizer. So the sensitizer, let me tell you, we call it sensitizer because it is very sensitive to light. Very sensitive to light. How is it sensitive to light? Where you expose the sensitizer to white light, don't forget, white light, underline what that word is, very sensitive. We call it sensitizer because it is sensitive to white light. When you expose it, you know, you have to mix the emulsion. You have to mix the, maybe the photo emulsion and the sensitizer together. Once you mix it together, you are supposed to coat the screen entirely, the mesh entirely, to cover, all right, all the perforated parts. Okay, all right. Now it is called sensitizer because if you mix it and you expose it to light, it will get dry instantly. You can't do anything about it again. No amount of liquid can clean it. No amount of liquid can make it wet or can wipe it out. That destroy your screen forever. Okay, that's why we call it sensitizer, very sensitive to light. All right, but we use it. Then I'll be telling you how we use it when we get there. Okay, then we have lacquer. Lacquer is also used for coating the screen. So we have used what? We have used photo emulsion, sensitizer for coating screen. Then we have white glue. So I said the photo emulsion is just like the white glue. All right. Then we have varnish. Varnish. Okay. All right. Then we have printing ink or paste. We have water. We have silk fabric. That is the silk fabric. Another name for the silk fabric is the organdy. This is the silk fabric. Okay. That is another name for it, is known as organdy. 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 And so the spelling of organdy, organdy is O-R-G-A-N-D-Y, organdy fabric. And so organdy fabric. So that is another name for silk. So you can name it organdy. Then let's go to the equipment. These are large, you know, large devices for printing. So we have light box. Light box. We all use these things for the screen printing. Light box. So light box, this is the light box. I'm also showing you. I want to show it to you on the screen. So this is the nature of the light box. Light box. The light box. Another name for the light box is developing box. developing box. Our name for the light box is developing box. Developing box. Don't forget. Developing box. So light box or developing box. Why do we call it light box? So we can see light in it. Fluorescent lights arranged in it. And the surface, all right, is glass. The surface is sealed with glass. Okay? So the light box must always be in a dark room. So you can see, I've shown you, all right, that on the WhatsApp page, that the light box in a dark room, it must always be in a dark room. That is where we have to shoot our image. So shoot our image means we have to develop our image. We have to develop our screen, where we develop our screen for the screen printing. We do it in a dark room. What is a dark room? A room that has no light. A room that has no white light. Let me be very specific. White light. So you cover it can be your own room. You cover the entire windows with blanket, very thick black blankets, where you cannot sometimes see yourself. So that is where the developing box must be. Then we go to printing table, of course, where we print. Staple machine, all right, for stapling. We have the bigger ones. Electric dryer. So the one that the women use to dry their hair when they go to the salon. The hand one, all right, not the one that is fixed. So that is electric. Then rubber or ceramic basin. So it's a rubber bowl. Rubber bowl. So that is it. We'll be talking about it. So don't worry. So I've explained all this to you. I've explained the squeegee to you. And that is it. So what do we use the squeegee for? One. Okay, so we have the various shapes in which the squeegee blades edges are prepared. So the first one, the shape of the squeegee, we have the square edge, we have the square edge with rounded corners, we have rounded edge, we have single side bevel edge for specific uses. So square edge for printing on flat surfaces on all substrates. So it goes for all substrates. Then we have square edge with rounded corners, where heavy deposit of ink is required. All right. When you are printing very large item, you have to pour, all right, the ink, much ink there. And so you need the square edge with rounded corners. They would also need the rounded edge for fabrics where heavy deposit of ink is required. Okay, there we have single side bevel edge for printing on glass surfaces. Then we have double edge bevel, all right, double side bevel edge for printing on uneven surfaces. There we have double side, bevel edge with flat point for printing on ceramic surfaces. So these are the edges, these are the blades. That is the edge that we are talking about. Some A, B, C, D, E, F. So that is it. So I've explained the squeegee sharpener. I've explained scoop coater, stapling machine. I've explained electric hand dryer, light box. All right, I've explained that one too. So this is another example of light box. Screen fabrics, I've explained it. That is the screen fabric. I've explained everything. That one. So that is the fabric is made up of. It is silk, all right, or synthetic fiber, such as polyester or nylon. Okay. So that is that. Now let's look at the grading of the screen fabric. The grading, very important over here. The grading of the screen fabric, the organdy. We grade it, it is engraved. So you can't use any, you don't just go to the market and say, I want to buy organdy for my screen. No, it depends on what you want to use it for. So let's look at it. And then when a screen fabric is magnified in a glass lens, it can be seen that it is made up of finely woven threads. You get it? Aha. It is woven thread, warp and weft thread. Is that also warp and weft thread, which form openings that allow the liquid to pass through. So it allows the ink to pass through any liquid. So the mesh that we use to sieve flour at home, when that's the mesh. It's different from the colander. I'm not talking about colander. The colander is metallic. This one is fabric. So it is the size of the mesh that determines the fineness or roughness of the screen. Please take note of this. We can ask you in examination. What determines the fineness and roughness of, all right? What determines the fineness or roughness of a mesh? Okay, that's the size. That is the size. That is the size, the opening. Okay. Mesh quality is classified into fine, medium, and coarse. So you can go for fine mesh or organdy. You can go for medium organdy or mesh. You can go for coarse organdy or mesh. So we have the three, categories that you can get. The fine one depends on the type of design you want to make. So if your design is very intricate, use the fine one. All right. If your design is the moderate size, use the medium. Not too complicated, use the medium. Okay. If your design is very large, big design, then you use the coarse one. The fine mesh has small openings. The medium one has fairly close opening, and the coarse has wider openings. Okay, so mesh count is determined by the number of threads. So we can ask, what is the mesh count of? So take note of the mesh count. We want to count it. So mesh count is determined by the number of threads the fabric has per linear or square inch or centimeters. Okay, so when you take a square inch, you cut a square, all right, a square inch. We would know the number. So a number identifies the mesh count. Large numbers represent fine screen fabric. So when you cut maybe a square, okay, a square inch or centimeter, if the number is large, it means that it is having a lot of thread, weft and warp thread. Okay, please wait as I explain. After that, you can ask your question. So when you cut something like a piece, just a piece, square, the same size, all right, square, inch. If the number count is large, is small, it means that the screen is fine. It means that it's fine because we have multiple of weft and warp thread interlacing. A lot of them are interlacing, which is why it is very fine. Because the threads are much closer together and multiple of them are there. The same way, if the meter square, all right, or square inch is small, if the numbers are small, it means that the mesh is coarse. The mesh is very coarse. So the higher the number, the finer the mesh. Remember, the higher the number, the finer the mesh. So let's give example. All right. Okay. So if the number is this 6, the mesh count can be 74. 6 times. Mesh count can be this 8. So you can see that from 6, look at 25. The mesh count is what? 200. So don't forget that the higher the number, the higher the number, or the higher the number of the size, we'll get finer mesh. If the number is small, rather we'll get a very coarse mesh. That is very rough one. So that is the mesh for you. So let me end it so that you can ask your question. So requirement for, so that, okay, we have done the screen frame. So that one too. So this is the square or rectangular frame onto which the screen fabric is attached. So that's the wooden, okay? Hand printing screens are best with softwood, of course. However, aluminum and steel frames are also used. So requirement for screen frame. Okay, what are the requirements? Okay, it must be deep enough to hold enough ink. So it shouldn't be very thin wood. No, it must be broad enough so that it can hold more ink. The reservoir should be about 4 inches. What is a reservoir? Reservoir is the area, the negative area that we pour our ink into the mesh before we can use the squeegee to press through the positive area. So where the ink will be stored, where we'll fetch the ink and pour before we use the squeegee to press over the positive area. That is what we call reservoir. The frame should be robust, very, very strong, enough to prevent it from warping. Some of the frame, because it is not very durable, it is not very robust. If you leave it for a short period of time, you see that it will warp. It will be crooked after the fabric has been attached to it. All right, the edge of the frame where the fabric will be stretched must be slightly rounded or beveled to prevent the fabric from tearing. Apart from it preventing from tearing, it can even cut you. It will be too sharp. So the edges must be rounded a bit. All right. Now the joint of the frame should be made with the following joint. That is, we are now going to technical. All right, technical. So we have mitre joint, we have rubber joints, we have lap joints. So that is it. Now the sensitizer, I've explained the sensitizer already, which is also called potassium dichromate. All right, we are saying it is very sensitive to light. It must not be exposed to light. When it is exposed to ultraviolet light, it has its potential. Is that it loses its potency when it is exposed to ultraviolet light to dry up. But when the potency is not affected when exposed to infrared, so in that room, we say we must place the developing box or the light box in a dark room. So how do we even see to work over there? So there must be blue bulb or red bulb over there. Well, that's what we call the infrared light. So that for that one, when the sensitizer see those lights, it will not activate itself. It will not activate itself. It will not dry up. That's the meaning. So the sensitizer is dissolved in distilled water, all right, before it is used. Okay, all right. It is used in the preparation of the photo emulsion. So we said that we add the sensitizer to the photo emulsion. Adhesive, we have already spoken about adhesive. Colorant. And so let's look at colorant. So we add the colorant to the photo emulsion as a form of dye, because the photo emulsion is basically white, and the sensitizer is also colorless. So we are going to work in a dark room. So for us to see the substance that we are working, we have to give it a color. So that is what we call colorant. Colorant. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all about lesson 3. Thank you so much. If you have any question now, you can now ask. Thank you so much for paying attention. Any question now? Charles asking a question? Yeah. Any question now? Good job. All right. Is it Christian? Yeah, Christian.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Sir, please, my own is I want to be a little bit clear about is it the number and the mesh count? So
yes.
Is it are you multiplying the number with like example like a 6? Hello.
Okay. So question could be, we can give you a question like this. A mesh count of 700 will give us what? A. A. Okay, we can even make it a very simple question for you. A mesh count of 700 will give us which texture? Which texture? Fine texture, coarse texture. That one will give us coarse. A mesh count of that will give us fine texture, because we said that when the mesh count is high, very high, the count is very high, it means we are counting the threads, the warp. When we are weaving, we weave warp and weft, horizontal and vertical. So it is the count that we are counting, but the eye cannot see. So we are using a strategy whereby we cut it per meter square. Okay, so when we cut it per meter square, the higher the number, the finer the quality. It means that the holes will be very fine for intricate designs. But when the numbers are less in the same square, the square per meter, so one is 700, one is 60. The one which is 60 will give us what? It means that we are still counting thread, warp thread and weft thread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 60. The same diameter, the same size. 60 is there. And another one, the same size, 700 is there. Which one would have more warp and weft thread? Is it not the 700? Christian, is it not the 700?
Yes, please.
Yes. So if it is the 700, it means that the warp and the weft thread will be closer to each other. So the more they become closer, the finer the material, the smaller the spaces, the hole size. We have only 60. You see that the holes will be scattered. I hope I'm making now. I'm making many now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yes, any question? Any more question? Any more question? So it's a very interesting this thing. I mean, the questions, once you pay attention, you will get it. All of you, once you are participating in this particular class, you will get it over there. I can assure you. I can assure you. Yeah, that is when you are participating. That's why I say ask all the necessary questions. Ask all the necessary questions. We are not here to teach you to fail. Not at all. A good teacher must not teach students to fail. That is not it. Because you know, the objective of education is not to graduate failures, is to graduate what? Achievers. So we must achieve. And so that is what we are trying to do. Yeah, Christian. Yeah, your question. Yes,
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
The dark room, can we turn on a red bulb or blue bulb on the dark room so that you can use that to code?
Christian, position yourself well. Position yourself well. I can hardly hear you. Position yourself well. I can hardly hear you.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
I can hardly hear you.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, it's better.
Yes, sir. I'm saying.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm saying in the dark room where we do our coding. Can we turn on a red light on or a blue light on so that it made us do our coding?
Who heard Christian better? Who heard Christian better so that you can recap it so that I get it and give an answer to it? I'm not getting Christian. Yeah,
he's saying that in the dark room when we are quoting our screen, since we cannot see anything, can we turn on the red light?
Exactly. That is why the infrared light is there. The infrared light, which is either blue light or red light. So in that room, if it is your bedroom that you want to use as a dark room, after covering all the spaces, the ventilation with black blanket, and don't forget, the only place that the developing box or the light box must be is the dark room, because we want to shoot. And I'll be showing you when we go to how to shoot. When we go to industrial technology 2. You see why I said we should teach industrial technology 1 before 2? Please, are you now paying attention now? So there's no way you can teach 2 without teaching 1. You will never get it. You will never get it. So we need to know the basic. When it comes to 2, else 2 will be too confusing for you to get. So the developing box or the light box, it must always be in the dark room. That is the device that must be in the dark room for shooting of the screen. If you say shooting of the screen, that is where we develop our image. So the screen will now be the image carrier. Okay, so if you want to draw the image that must be on the screen. So the light box, with the help of the sensitizer and the motion paint, will shoot the screen fast. We'll go to shooting of screen when we get to 2. Now, in that dark room, you must also move about, else you may hit some things. That is why you must mix the sensitizer with the photo emotion. If there is no light at all, how will you be able to even measure it and mix? So in that dark room, there must be an infrared light, not what? Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is the one emitting from the light box. That's the fluorescent light, white light. That's a white light. That is ultraviolet light. The infrared one, which the blue, the red, the sensitizer cannot react to it. No, it is not white light. The sensitizer is something very sensitive, very emotional, very emotional liquid, very sensitive to light, but specifically white light. So you must fix red bulb or blue bulb, then you can use it to mix your whatever, your emotion paint. Then apply it on the screen. After applying it on the screen, you don't send it outside for it to get dry. When you send it outside to get dry, what happens? You have activated the sensitizer. So it must still be in the room. Then you fan it. You fan it. All right. Don't forget that fan get things drier. Get things dry, not heat or not light. So it is the fan, it is air that can get this thing, dry. So you fan it for it to get dry. So after fanning for it to get dry, then you put your, image. I'll show you how it is done. You put your image on it, then you place the whole screen with the image onto the developing box. That's the light box. You place it on it. Then you switch on the white light now. When you switch on the white light now, where the positive image is, which is ink black, that place, the white light will not be able to pass through. So it will not have effect on the sensitizer, on the mixture. So to block it. Then where it is not coated black, that one, the white light will pass through, meeting the sensitizer, activating the sensitizer for it to get dry permanently. So after some time, you just take it out from the developing box or the light box. Then you wash it in the room. You switch the ultraviolet, you switch the infrared light on again. Then you wash it in a basin bowl. All right, you wash it. If you are washing, where it has been exposed to white light will remain permanently dry. You can never wash it off, sealing all the pores in the mesh. Then where it has not been exposed to white as a result of black, okay, because white cannot pass through the black, so it's not affecting the black areas, then that one can be washed away. Where it can be washed away, that's the positive side for printing. Thank you very much. All right. So let's go. Yeah. Any more question? Any more question? Yeah. Is it Richard? Richard. Yeah, Richard. I'm listening.
Yes, sir.
I'm listening.
Yes,
yeah.
Sir. In context to those concepts we discussed earlier in design, we were only having tools and materials, but here in the case of manual screen printing, we are having tools, materials, and equipment. Yeah. So what is the striking difference between the tools and the equipment?
All right. So thank you very much, Akotia. That's a very fantastic question. I like when students ask me questions than they listening. I like it. One will expand our scope very well. I enjoy questions. Now, one thing is that we have tools. Okay, I want to explain it to you in a very simple way. Tools are basic devices, very basic devices that are used, very basic and handy. All right, they are basic and handy, portable devices that are used to make an artwork and who do not form part of the finished product. So for instance, scissors. We use scissors to cut. But at the end of the day, after cutting, it will not form part of the cutout. It will be left somewhere. Again, ruler. It is used for measuring. It is handy, but it will not be added to the finished work. After measuring, it is left out. Okay? All right. A situation whereby tool becomes part of the material, so sometimes a tool can become part of the material. So a question can be asked, when can tools be part of a material? A tool can be part of a material when the entire tool is exhausted into the finished work. Example, pencil, crayon is a tool. Crayon is a tool. When you use crayon and you have some left, it is still a tool. It is not considered as a material. For instance, you have used one crayon, you are using it to shade. And after shading, you can still have a piece of crayon in your hand. That crayon is a tool. But when you exhaust the entire crayon entirely so that it all goes into the work, so that we cannot see any crayon in your hand, it means that the tool has become a material. It has become a material. So that is one thing that you need to understand. Then when we come to material, what is material? Materials are substances that we use in producing artwork and which form part of the finished product. Materials are substances that we use in an artwork which form part of the finished product. So at the end of the day, the finished product that we have, we'll see the material forming part of it. For instance, we have glass. When we use glass, look at our mobile phone. It's made up of glass. Is that not so? Is the glass not part of the mobile phone? It is part of the mobile phone. We have plastic. Plastic. Mobile phone has plastic. It's not forming part of the mobile phone. It's forming part of the mobile phone, which is the finished product. We have nail that we use. The nail, we use it and forming part of the product, that is the table or the chair. Paint, we use forming part of the finished product. All right. Now, in the material, we have types. The material, we have types. We have media. Media. All right. Media and support. Media and support. Material, so we have media and support. So the color is a media. Color is a media. Okay? Color is a media. Then we have support, which is paper, animal hide, or whatever. Surfaces. We have explained that already. And in the media, we have two. We have wet media and the dry media. Watercolor, or poster color, or oil paints are all wet media. Then the dry media, crayon, that is when it is entirely exhausted into the work. Then we come to equipment. We said tools are basic portable materials. Equipment too are large devices. Tools are basic portable devices. Equipment are large devices that we use to produce an artwork. So those ones are large. They cannot be carried easily about. They are heavy. They are sometimes sophisticated. So that is the difference between tool, equipment, and materials. Thank you very much. Are you clear? All right.
Yes,
good
sir.
Job. Good job. All right. Good job. Guys, any other?
Yes, sir.
Any other? Yeah, Clifford. Once again, you have been contributing. Just that your network has been, harassing you. All right. Let's go.
Sir, from your explanation with regards to the preparation of the screen and then the shooting, it means that when the design should be printed in black on the paper.
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever the design is, whether it is multicolored or not multicolored, everything should be in black.
Okay.
I'll be explaining further when we go to printing technology 2. Okay. So you can now see the reason why I've been saying that there is no way any teacher can teach you. So any teacher who is teaching you both will confuse you. Will confuse you. It's not supposed to be that. We need to do one before we go to 2. So all those, those I'm supposed to teach 2 should bear with us. So that we'll finish 2 this week. As I said, we told you that we'll finish 2 this week. Is that also? We'll finish 1 in industrial technology 1 this week. So next week we'll start with industrial technology. All right. Yes. Another fantastic gentleman, Senna. Yeah,
Hello,
Senna.
Sir. Please, about the material, the vanish point, that point, please, can you help me with that?
Yeah.
Point? I'm not getting it.
The vanish. You want to know?
Yes.
You want to know the vanish? So the vanish is a figurative.
Okay.
And so the vanish can also be used on a screen to seal the holes. The vanish is, we normally use it, those carpenters, they dilute it, all right? That is, you know, it is used to finish a surface. That's the vanish, used to finish a surface. So just like lacquer. So we have lacquer, we have the vanish. Okay, so that's the vanish for you. Yeah, carpenters use it.
Sir, does it mean the vanish also makes the surface of the finished work smooth?
Yes, glossy, basically. Glossy, okay, but it can also be used to seal holes. Yes, it can also be used to seal holes.
Okay. All right. Please, the sensitizer. The sensitizer, I once remembered when I was in school, we were looking for sensitizer, and then our teacher said we can't get it easily. So he went to the science lab to a chemical called potassium dichromate.
Yeah, chemical called potassium dichromate.
So
that's
I want
the name.
to ask if we can get it around easily, because looking at the tools, materials, and equipment.
Yes. So yeah. So the sensitizer will go to any chemical shops. You go to where we sell chemical, where normally where they sell chemicals. We have places in Accra that we sell chemicals, not drugstore chemicals. Chemicals. All right, you can get it over there. You even go to Accra Newtown, you get it. You go to Okanshi, you get it. All right. You go to Koforidua, you get it. Chemical shops are there. You get it in Koforidua. I don't know where some of you are. You go to these regional capitals, they are there for you to get. You can easily get it. Chemical shops, those who sell various chemicals, vanish, lacquer, tina, all those ones. They sell it, and when they sell it to you, they have to wrap it in a black polythene for you. Why must they wrap it in a black polythene? Because it does not watch white light. So that is it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. So far the gentlemen have been contributing. I could see the gentlemen contributing, and that's Mavis. Do you have only one female here? Only one female here? Oh, I see. Okay, no problem. We'll get to know the females, the rest of the females who are here. But if the men are many over here and only few are contributing, it should tell that we'll get to know all of you when it is time for us to do assessment. We'll get to know all of you. So don't worry. But I want all of you to be, participating, asking questions and so on. Okay, so we are done with that. We'll break for how many minutes should we break for? It's 2:20. How many minutes?
10 minutes.
Morgan, 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. Should we break for 10 minutes? Okay, so 10 minutes. So 2:30 exactly, we must come so that we'll try and see whether we'll be able to finish up the rest. Or if possible, if you're not able to finish up, let me see whether we'll be able to finish up today. If you're not able to finish up, then we take a decision. Let me see what is left. Screen printing 4. Okay, industrial screen printing. Okay, metal coating draft. Oh, I've even just explained some of the light box and whatever. I've explained all these things to you. I've explained creation of the frame. Oh, these ones. Okay. All right, we'll do some, then tomorrow we'll end it. Okay. So we'll use 30 minutes to do some when we come back. Or do you want us to close 3 o'clock so that we can have ample time to do the distance? Let's not go. Let's close 3 o'clock. What do you think? Let's close 3 o'clock.
Yeah, so we can.
What do you think?
No problem.
Yeah, let's close 3 o'clock then. Yeah, let's close 3 o'clock. Then we know that we have closed 3 o'clock. Exactly 3 o'clock. Then we know we are finishing. So by the grace of God, by the grace of Allah, by the grace of God, by the grace of our Creator, by tomorrow we will finish everything. We will finish everything on printing technology 1. So quickly, let's go to the next lesson. Very, very interesting. The next lesson will not waste time because I already given you some tidbits on the printing distance. So let's go. Let's go. All right. So lesson 4. Lesson 4. Unit 4. That's the final unit. That is the final unit. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the final unit. We must be very, 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 very proud of ourselves. You have done a good job, and I hope you didn't go too fast. We are on track, and that is the final unit for us to exhaust so that we can end it. So the final unit is on what? The final unit is on what? So after someone's hand is up. Whose hand is up? Yeah.
I want to ask if we'll be having revision on all the units before we write the exam.
Yeah, even this one. After that, you can see that we have some sample questions down there for you. After we are done, sample questions down there for you to be doing some revisions. Okay? And there will be time for practical. Then, so all the practicals that I've given you, you try as much as possible to do it during the practical section time. The timetable I've given you the calendar for the semester. All right. So next week, God willing, that's when we'll start with printing technology 2. So printing technology 2, what will happen is that the approach will be a bit different. You see, this time you realize that I was reading more. I was the one, much more concentration was on me and whatever. So you would also read whilst I explain it. You will read and I explain it so that we will take it that way. All right. So there will be time for us to do revision. There will be time for us to do some practical work. There will be time for us to do continuous assessment and maybe other things that are necessary before the examination. So as we are on the platform too, I'm not leaving you till you finish your examination. But all that I want you to do is that please be here all the time. So when it's time for assessment, some people had IC, then they will call me. Oh, sir, I had IC. Oh, how come you had IC? All right, I taught packaging and environmental designs. Someone had two people had IC. Oh, sir, we had IC. Meanwhile, during the presentation, they were not there for the presentation. When we did presentation for our cumulative assessment, they were nowhere to be found. Then they say, oh, my phone was having an issue. Yes, all the rest who did it had the A's and the B pluses. They did very well. Okay, they did extremely well. And so you have an IC. I don't even, so the issue is that some of you, I don't even know you by face. You may know me, but I don't know you. I know some of my students are here. Some of the students that I've been teaching, some of them are here. Okay? If you search for me, you will know me better. But for me, I don't know, apart from those who are contributing. So I may not be able to even, comprehend the fact that so those who are contributing, participating all the time, for that one, I'll be able to tell. I'll be able to tell that they are very distant, regular in class, very, what's the name? Time conscious. They contribute actively to the development of every lesson. Okay, so sometimes I tell yourself to be known. Sometimes when your lecturer knows you, it's better. All right, so that at least, some people will call me. I don't even know them. They say they were in my class. The idea is for them to arrange with UCC so that we can have another thing for them. But so it means that UCC must equally pay me for that. That's it, because that's an extra job. So please let us all be here, just like the way some of you are always here 24/7. So the last unit, ladies and gentlemen, let's tighten our belts very high, fortify ourselves, rejuvenate the energy. So the last unit is screen printing. Screen printing. So the screen printing, we are going to look at industrial screen printing equipment and inks. Sorry, we are going to look at preparation of the frame. We have already had how to prepare the frame. Screen preparation methods, that the sheet stencil and hand block methods. We're also going to look at photographic screen printing methods and screen printing fault reproduction and reclamation, and practical activities in screen printing. I wish all of us the best. Quickly, let's proceed. Section 1, industrial screen printing equipment and inks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly look at, so we said we want to know some of the basic equipment ink used in large scale printing. So the discussion will focus on aluminum frames, drying equipment, printing machines, printing boards, electronic light box, and inks. So we will look at the first equipment, that's electronic light box. And I've already explained that already. So there's no need for us to waste time at all. Electronic light box. I said another name for the electronic light box is known as developing box. So when you look at the developing box carefully, it's just like a chobos. A chobos. Okay? All right. It's just like chobos. What you have been sending to school where you were at SHS. Okay? Inside it has fluorescent bulb. On top of it, it has a transparent glass and a cover. The fluorescent bulbs are arranged. All right. Just look at what the one I posted are arranged, connected to power. Okay, so that is the developing box. So he said this type of industrial box is constructed with aluminum sheet. So we can see that it is connected with aluminum sheet, that the one which is here, aluminum plate. A glass plane is fixed on top of the light box, so you can see it, with an air vacuum cover inside of which is lined with light black silky fabric. You can see the top, in which air is blown from a fan inside the box to build up at the back of the air at the back of the air vacuum liner. It consists of high voltage bulb, that is ultraviolet light, fixed in the middle of the box. Another low voltage bulb, fluorescent, all right, fixed at one side of the inside walls or both. So in this one, the one that I've posted, you have only two still fixed inside. So its switch, it's on and off. The switch is different from the fluorescent one, the one you can see. Okay. The high voltage lights are controlled by one switch, and the low is also controlled by another switch. So you can see. Okay. The light box is an automatic timer, which is used to set the exposure time. It has an automatic timer. So we have some timers over here used to set the time. So for instance, if you are setting it to 30 minutes, it will set to 30 minutes. If you are setting it to 50 minutes, it will, depending, you are setting the time to shoot based on the potency of the sensitizer. So the sensitizers are not very potent. So that is it. Then let's go to electronic screen drying racks. Electronic screen drying racks. So they said this is an aluminum rack consisting of number of drawers, slots in which coated screens are packed for drying. All right. So instead of you fanning it by hand using or putting it under a fan for the coated screen to get dry, you put it in electronic screen drying rack. All right, just like drawers, a tall drawer, you put it, slot it in it for it to get dry. The light table. What is the light table over here? This is a metal table with an enclosed desk in which bright light colors have been fixed. The top of the table is covered with plain glass and different, calibrations. All right, calibrations have been made on it. It is used to strip and crop images prior to exposure. That one is not so common over here, but it is used. The essence of the light table is to crop images before you place it on the developing box. Sometimes the light table is integrated into the electronic screen, all right, screen drying rack. When the light table is integrated into the electronic screen drying, when the light table is integrated into the electronic screen drying rack, the light table is created as light tight chamber on top of the drying rack. So the base of the chamber is covered with aluminum sheet, which blocks the drying chamber from the. So the essence of the light table is just to crop, all right, to crop images to size or strip unwanted, part of the images before you expose it to the light box or the developing box. Then we come to ceramic washing basin or sink. All right. Then is that like our kitchen? We have a basin with a tap. That is what we are talking about. So this is a large industrial, sink fixed to the wall. Okay. The sink that we use is connected with taps. It has an outlet where washing. So that is where we wash our screen after it has been exposed to the developing box. Then metal coating trough, as the gentleman said. So that is the coating trough. That's the scoop, the scoop coater. Okay, this is a coating trough constructed with thick aluminum sheet. It is available in different lengths. All right, it is also used to coat screen. So another name for that. So manual screen printing machine. Manual screen printing machine. All right. So these are manually operated industrial screen printing machine constructed with metal. They have 4 or more flat metal printing board called pallets. Okay. So let me see whether I can get a picture of it for you and place it over there. Manual. Okay, I've seen some. I want to give it to you for you to see. Here's one kind. This one kind. Okay, so it is there for perusal. So you can see that the screen is there. All right. So the pallets have metal or stations which hold the screen. So it's holding the screen pallet and are locked with the screw. So you can see that the screen has been locked. So it is used for printing. So that is used for printing. You don't have to go further. So that is it. Used for printing multiple of designs and print. So we have electronic printing, electronic screen printing machine, electronic screen printing machine. So we have the electronic one. So as we have the manual one, we have the electronic one too. So electronic, let me also show you the electronic. Electronic. Okay. And so you have the electronic one too, being shared. This is the electronic one. So these are metal constructed screen powered by electricity and operated electronically with keyboard fixed on the machine. And so that is also for printing. Then we have metal printing bench. Metal printing bench. All right. What do we use that one for? So these are long metal benches fixed with number of flat metal rectangular plates. Okay. So the metal printing bench contains 2 rows of pallets, with each row consisting of 18 or more pallets. And so each pallet has 2 lockers, which are used to register the screen to the middle of the pallet. The bench has electronic drying machine fixed on it, which moves on 2 wheels in rails at both sides. So that is during printing, the t-shirts are placed on the pallet and registered in the middle of the pallet with locks. One printer prints the first color manually with aluminum screen and squeegee. Another printer follows with second color, and it follows in that order until all the printings are done. And so that is that. So electronic drying machine is also used to dry the works that you have printed by applying heat, all right, blow hot air to dry the your print after it has been printed. Then we have aluminum frames. Aluminum frames. So the aluminum frames, they are the frames that we stretch our organdy on. We stretch our mesh on. All right, so I've shown you an example of frame. So the frame could be metal or wood that we stretch the organdy on, all right, to get our frame. So that is to get our screen. That is that. Then we have, so these are the locking of frames, stretching of frames. So this is where they are doing the frame over here. So now there's one thing that we need to understand in making the where you want to stretch your fabric on the frame. You stretch one side first. Okay, you stretch one side first, making sure that there is no drapery or wrinkle, all right, on top. You stretch it so that the whole surface becomes drum tight. Underline the word drum tight, or drum hard. Another name is drum hard. We have drum tight and drum hard. It's the same. So you stretch it so that when you beat, all right, when you tap the surface, it will sound like a drum. That is why we said drum tight or drum hard. So that is it. It is, you can, when you are using wood, you use the staple pins to staple the edges as you pull it to make it drum hard. So you stretch it at all the sides. Then sometimes you can even apply glue to still on the edges to still support the firmness. So that is, the excess fabric must be trimmed off. All right, we trim off the excess fabric after stretching the mesh. So you can see someone stretching the mesh. This is the frame first. This is the frame. All right. They want to stretch. They want to stretch. So you can see that it's stretching the frame over here. I'm stretching the mesh on the frame. Then you can see the frame with the mesh on it was stretched. So you now trim off excess mesh. Okay, you trim off the excess mesh. How to stretch the whatever. So that is it. Then this one is telling us. So this is the electronic printing machine. We have the manual screen printing machine over here. Then we have the metal printing bench over here. Then we have electronic drying machine over here for drying. Then we have the light box, that is the developing box over here. That's another type. Then we have drying rack. These are the rack having compartment where we put your screen for drying. Then we have the metal coating trough. This is the manual one that someone has made. All right, I showed you the original one is there. Then we have the light table. Okay, the light table is for cropping, you know, unnecessary image or excess image. Then we have drying rack, okay, for drying off our printed stuffs. So screen printing ink, we have, these are the various types of ink that we use for screen printing. We have plastisol, okay, the plastisol. We use it. Then the only, no matter how you expose the plastisol, it will never get dry. It is in a liquid state. All right, it's in a liquid state, which is ink based. But when you expose it to light, heat, when you expose it to heat, you put it under the sun, 1 million years, it will never get dry. The only thing that can dry it is when you apply heat after printing. So that is the plastisol. So some people call it plastic paint. That is the plastisol. Then we come to opaque. It's opaque. It is a water-based printing ink containing large quantity of fine pigment which enhance the opacity of the ink. It is used to print flat color designs onto dark, all right, colored materials. It is opaque, so it is used to print flat color design onto dark materials. That's why we call it opaque. And so material can be black, materials can be black. So we can ask you the best printing paste or ink to use on black surface. It is opaque. All right. Okay. Then we have acrylic. It's so acrylic is so common. Okay. Someone is making call. Someone is wishing someone a fishapa. So is it that pillar? Is it that pillar? Your mic good. All right. Your colleagues are laughing because it is not time for you to wish people a fishapa. It is time for you to listen and listen well. Okay. Then we have the acrylic paint. We have been seeing it. It's just like poster color, but that one is more durable than poster color. Then we have Testers ink. It's quite shiny, all right? It's quite shiny. And so Tester ink, it is a transparent water-based ink used to print designs onto fabrics, basically for fabrics. Then we have sticker inks. That one too. This is a spirit-based opaque ink used to print on all kinds of smooth, non-absorbent. So those that cannot absorb, like glass, like vinyl, like chromo coat, materials such as sticker, sheet, leather, plastic, tarpaulin, glass, etc. Then we have the puff. The puff is a print. It is also a spirit-based ink used to print, all right, one color flat, all right, one color flat design into fabric. It is ironed after printing, was wet to puff in relief. So you see some of the designs, and I mean the designs are projected, are embossed. The print out, I have even there's one that I brought in here. It is puff. It is projected. It's printed on the t-shirt, all right. But when you feel it with your hand, you can see that it is embossed. That is that. Then we have blinks. These are flakes of varying sparkling colors sprinkled into inks after printing while wet. Right, it gives you that sparkling effect. Children's dresses, we normally see it in that. So that is about the various printing paste or materials that we use, printing inks. Then we would quickly go to the last one. There we close for today. Let's go to preparation of the frame. Preparation of the frame. Tools and materials used to produce the wooden frame. And so we know that we want to prepare the frame for the screen. So he said these include soft woods, nails, screen, fabric, manila card, hammer, plane, all right, tri-square, saw, stapling pins, stapling gun, ruler, pencil, etc. Requirement of the screen. It must be deep. We said it already that it must be deep enough to hold enough ink. The reservoir, we also mentioned that of the reservoir. That the reservoir should be about 4 inches so that it can accumulate more ink. The frame should be robust. We also said that the frame must be robust so that it will not warp. We said all that, and we gave the example of the joints that we must use. Then how to prepare the frame now? How to prepare? Measure and cut the wood into long strips, 1 inch, all right, to 2 inch wide. Plane it, all right. These ones are the work of the carpenter. If you don't have it, just get someone prepare the frame for you. Don't waste your time to prepare this, all right. But you must know how it is prepared so that if the carpenter is not getting it, you'll be able to direct the person. So plane it, all right, to make it very smooth. Measure the length of each piece to a required size depending on the design, okay. Make sure the frame is always bigger than the design. Give it allowance. It shouldn't be the same as the design. No. Cut the ends to the desired joint, okay, and assemble the pieces by gluing and nailing. How to attach screen to the fabric, to the frame. We already said it, all right? So cut strip, we saw that we have to cut the strip of hard card, all right? Cut a piece of screen fabric, that's the mesh or gandhi, 2 inches larger than the frame, and wet it, okay? Place one end, because why are you wetting it? It becomes stronger when it is wet, so that it will not tear. All right, so place one end of the fabric, all right, at one side of the frame. So you must always place, all right, at the corner. You staple the edge first before you pull, okay? All right, so place the strip of the hard card on it, staple the card and the fabric to the frame at the angle of 45 by leaving an interval of about 1 centimeter in between. Okay, press down the staple, side firmly while another person stretches the fabric at the opposite side. Sometimes you may not need another person, you are only one. So you have to do it side by side as you staple the pins. Okay, then trim off. We have to trim off the fabric, excess fabric to complete the screen. Wash. Why are you washing it? To remove the dust or oil contamination when necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all about today's interaction. Next week, we'll look at session 3. I said next week. Tomorrow, God willing, we'll look at session 3, and we hope to complete everything entirely on the printing industrial technology 1. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, for paying attention, and that is good job. All right. Any question? Okay, so let me quickly now stop sharing so that we can, if you have any. Okay, yes. Yeah, thank you for your contribution and participation. Yeah, any questions so far? Yeah, Mavis, yes, Mavis, ask your question or your contribution.
Stapling the silk on the wooden frame.
On the frame, yes.
45 degrees angle. I didn't get that.
Exactly. You see, okay, so this is how it is done. First and foremost, stretch. You forget about the manla card. You stretch the entire frame, the entire screen on the what's the name? On the frame. Stretch it. Don't forget the mesh must be more, all right, must cover the frame entirely. We must have excess of it. All right. Don't be too economical by cutting it very short. It should spread, it should flare. Okay. Then staple one edge. When you staple one edge, when you staple it, one edge, then you pull the direct opposite edge. You pull it. So when you pull it that side horizontally, it's from the 45. Instead of raising it up, it's 90. Okay. You pull it in between the edge. From one edge to another is 45. That is all that we want you to understand. So one edge to another edge, there is staple. There you begin to staple the edges one after the other. So from one edge that you staple and pulling it, all right, onto the other edge makes it 45. Makes it 45. Where you pull it upright, okay, that becomes the 90. No. So flat like that. That is what you are talking about, the 45. I hope you get it.
Seriously, I'm not getting the 45 because it should lie flat on the wooden
frame. It should lie flat. You see, you are stapling. You are stapling it. Okay, why lie flat on the wooden frame? On the wooden frame, you staple one edge. The wooden frame is having 4 corners. Is that also?
Yes, please.
It's having 4 corners. Okay. Cover the entire whatever. Cover it. Then when you cover it, because you are doing it alone, you staple one edge first. One of the edges of the 4, you staple it. Then the edge that is facing you, it is 4. So we have 4 edges. So you pull it, all right, over to the next edge directly facing you, opposite.
Yes, sir.
If you want to raise it up, the frame must still be lying flat. So lying flat means that it is already 45. If you raise it up, if you raise the distance up, it is 90. So once you pull it flat that way, you get the 45. I mean, that is all that we want you to get.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah. If you do it that way, you can do it by yourself. But if you are having someone with you, then all the edges can be held together as you staple it the way you want it. But if you are doing it alone, then it must from one edge to the other. Pulling it straight, the thing is already flat. So you pull it straight, you get your 45. So it's an angle, so 90 and 45. You pull it straight, you get the 45. So that is it. All right. Just to cover the entire thing. You may not even use the terminology 45 degrees or whatever. If that is confusing you, just pull it, just cover it with the mesh. If you are writing, you can just cover it with the mesh entirely. Then staple one part. All right. You hold the other part directly opposite and staple that one too. Then you begin to pull it one after the other while you staple to make it jam hard. You are done. We'll mark it for you excellently. Are you okay? All right. Okay. So that is it. Any other question? Any other question? Yeah. So Sena, yes.
Sir,
yes,
please,
sir.
About the electronic light box.
Okay.
When you said about a timer is placed on the
timer, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. My time, we don't even have that timer. Is it compulsory to fix it with it?
No, that's electronic. So you can see that that is electronic. That one you have to purchase it. Are you okay with that? That one we purchase it. We purchase the light box. Already made ones. But those that we make, we don't have any timer, so we use our watch. Then also we use our watch to check. So it depends on the potency of the this thing. If it is very high, it may not even get to 30 minutes. Sometimes by 15 minutes, it is dry. So you have to do trial test. You have to do trial test. How will you know whether it is 45 or 10 minutes or whatever? You have to do trial test on a very small distance mesh. All right, you don't need to use the frame. Just apply, mix the two together, the emotion and the sensitizer together. So sometimes it is 2 emotion against one, also maybe 2 tablespoons with 1 distance, 2 tablespoons of emotion, photo emotion, and 1 sensitizer. Then you mix it. Okay, when you mix it, you apply a bit on any mesh and expose it to the distance. Check the minutes that it will spend before it will get dry. That becomes the potency time. The activation time, sorry. That becomes the activation time. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It is exactly 3 o'clock. We have enjoyed our lesson today, and we are gradually completing. I entreat you to read over. Don't hesitate to practice all that we have said. That it's within your space. Continue practicing so that it will be on your fingertips. I wish you all the best. Oh, anytime I say I wish you all the best, someone will ask question. Osman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. With the work you said we should do for rescue and UCC, our lecturer has also been asking us to also do the same. I don't know whether we are part of this one.
Oh no, as I said, those of you joining me for the same this thing that you want to do, you have your lecturer. It's your lecturer that will give you your marks. Is that also? If you are joining me here, possibly it's because you want to add on. Are you okay with that? So yes, do what your lecturer tells you to do. If you want to do mine, that one, I will not use it for anything, but you are just, it's a practice make man perfect. So you are just practicing it to make you perfect. Thank you. So do what your lecturer tells you to do. All right? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. Let's have a very beautiful day. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Christian.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello. What's the assignment about?
You gave assignment.
Did the lecturer give an assignment?
I'm not sure. So we should practice under the PPM, the industrial art, the printing, industrial printing, the PPM. I think there's mathematics down there. So we should
Oh, okay. Thank you.